Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, The Effortless English Elucidation. In this video, I'll discuss with you chapter number 5 of Gulmohar English Reader Book, The Small Ghost of the Mountain. So this chapter is about the smallest type of wildcats which is found in the mountains. In a blink of eye, it gets disappeared. In a moment you will see it, you'll be able to locate it, and in the very next moment it gets disappeared as if you had not seen it there at all. So it is called ghost of the mountain, because just like ghosts, these kind of cats get disappeared. So I'll discuss with you the entire chapter in detail. Okay, so here we go. The Pallas's cat is one of the smallest wild cats of the world. So, as I already said, it is one of the smallest wild cats of the world. It is named after the German naturalist Peter Simon Pallas, who was the first person to describe the cat. So, who was the first person to describe the cat? Peter Simon Pallas, and after him only the cat was named as the Pallas's cat. The Pallas's cat can be seen up to a height of 12,000 feet. Just imagine, it can be seen up to a height of 12,000 feet. Narrow paths lead to the cat's den. What is cat's den? You must be knowing that it's where they dwell. So, narrow paths lead to their den, which is so high up among the rocks that it seems to touch the sky. The den where they live is so high up to the rocks that it seems to touch the sky. Usually, the cat merges with its environment so well that it is almost impossible to spot. So, what happens that an important feature of the cat is that it merges so well with the environment. Merges means it gets mixed up with the environment so well that it is not possible to spot it so easily. Thus camouflaged, it can ambush its prey or hide from predators. Camouflage means the way in which an animal's color or shape matches its surroundings and makes it difficult to be spotted. So it gets merges so well that it becomes difficult for a person to locate it, to differentiate between the environment and the cat. Now, I would like to ask you a question here. Name some other animal. Giving you a hint, it's a kind of reptile. Some other animal or creature which gets mixed with or merged with its environment very well. It is also able to change its color according to the environment in which it is. Name the creature. You can mention it in the comment section. Okay. Guides assure wildlife photographers and filmmakers who arrive in Mongolia in search of the cat that they will track the cat, even though it is elusive. However, the guides warn visitors that they must have great patience and be prepared for unpredictable weather. So, the guides over there assure the photographers or the trackers, whoever go there, and the filmmakers who arrive in Mongolia in search of the cat, that they will help the person to track the cat. Even though it is elusive, means even though it is difficult, the guide assures that he will help the person over there to locate the cat. However, they also warn visitors that they must have great patience and be prepared for unpredictable weather, because the weather there is very unpredictable, just like the presence of the cats. Okay, so Shafiq Bashir Ahmed, a wildlife photographer from Kochi. So the story is about a wildlife photographer from where? From Kochi, Kerala. Traveled to Mongolia in the winter of March 2017. When? In the winter of March 2017. He first spent 4 days trekking and camping in the Hastai National Park. So for the first 4 days, he spent it trekking and camping in the Hastai National Park. Then he spent 11 days in the Altia Mountains area. The local guides assured him that he would get sightings of the Pallas's cat. Ahmed's guide told him that the cats were active during the day and evening, and that was why they had to start trekking by dawn. So the guide of Ahmed said him that the cats remain active, so it is dangerous for them to go trekking or to find it out during day and evening. So he advised him to start trekking by dawn. He said the cat could be tracked using radio telemetry and camera traps, but sometimes it escaped their notice. The guide also followed the cat's tracks in the snow. Okay, so this story is about Shafiq Bashir Ahmed, a wildlife photographer who came from Kochi in the winter of March 2017. He spent first 4 days where trekking and camping in the Hastai National Park. Then he spent the 11 days in Altia Mountains area. Now, the guide over there assured him that he will get sightings of the Pallas's cat, but he'll have to keep patience. And since the cat was active in the day and evening, what did they plan? To start trekking by dawn. And what methods were to be used for finding it out? Finding the cat out was radio telemetry, which is a kind of use of radio signals to determine the location of something, and camera traps is actually inbuilt with sensors which help us find out any kind of activity in some near places. Okay, now we'll move on to the next page. The landscape made Ahmed shudder. Shudder means to shiver, tremble. When you see something suddenly, you tremble or shiver out of fear. That is called shudder. Okay, so the landscape made Ahmed shudder. Just a minute. There was no greenery at all. My goodness, he was shocked there to see that there was no greenery at all. He asked the guide how they would be able to find the Pallas's cat in a cold desert like this. The guide assured Ahmed that the cat could be located even if it might be initially difficult to spot, and explained that a cat sitting on the snow covered rocks high up in the mountains would be hard to make out because of its white coat. Okay, so what happens here is that Ahmed was trembling, or he shuddered when he saw the place that there was no greenery at all, but instead it was entirely covered with snow. It looked like a cold desert. And then what happened? He asked Ahmed, his guide, that how would the cat be located there? Ahmed assured him that although it would be difficult initially to spot, but he would help him manage and get the sighting somehow or the other. It would be hard to make out because of its white coat. Ahmed came up empty handed on the first 2 days. So, on the first 2 days, Ahmed came up empty handed, means he could not get the sight of the cat at all. There were some animals moving in the dry steppe, mainly rodents. The landscape otherwise was just an ocean of snowy wilderness. The landscape was nothing but full of snow. You can understand simply as this. The only point of interest was the weather, which changed windy to stormy to howling hurricanes in rapid succession. The only thing which was interesting over there was the rapid change of the weather. When the weather turned bad, they took shelter among the rocks. So, when the weather turned back, they took shelter among the rocks. On the third day, the guide, looking into the distance through his binoculars, told Ahmed to get his cameras ready. So, he was about to. Just a minute. Okay, so he could see something in the distance. So, he said Ahmed to be ready with his binoculars. To be ready with his camera. Excited, Ahmed tried to spot the cat through the binoculars, but he could not make it out because it was in perfect camouflage. Means since there was snow all over, he was not able to locate, and the white coat kind. It was difficult to spot the cat because the cat was in a kind of the fur of the cat looked like a kind of coat of white, and the snow was also white. So it was in a perfect camouflage. That is why it was difficult to locate the cat. But he finally spotted it with the help of the guide and took pictures of it too. Ahmed had six sightings in all during his 15 days stay in Mongolia. So, how long did he stay in Mongolia? 15 days. And how many sights could he get was six sightings. He spent 6 hours daily searching for the cat. Just imagine, he spent 6 hours in that area which was full of snow. He spent 6 hours daily searching for the cat, either trekking or on horseback. Some places were so steep that it was only possible to get there on horses. Sharing his palace's cat experience with me, he recalled, as his first sight, I could not make out the cat at first. I thought that I was looking at a piece of rock. Okay, so first let me explain you up to here that Ahmad had got 6 sites in all during his 15 days stay in Mongolia. He spent how many hours every day? Almost 6 hours every day, either trekking, that is walking on foot, or on horseback. Some of the places were so steep over there that he could not trek and he could use only horses to reach to the places. And sharing his palace's experience with the writer, he recalled at his first sight that I could not make out the cat at first. It was so well merged with the environment that Ahmad thought that it was a piece of rock. It had changed its color into the color of a rock and it looked like a piece of rock. So at first sight, Ahmad was not able to recognize it as a cat. Instead, he thought that it was a piece of rock. The head of the cat was smeared with snow. In fact, the cat appeared as if it was attired in snow. Attired means wearing a dress of snow. It was dressed up in snow. The cat looked like that. After finally spotting the cat, I looked through the binoculars again. Finally, when he spotted the cat, he looked through the binoculars again, and then I saw that the facial hair of the cat had dewdrops that looked like icicles. What are icicles? A pointed piece of ice that is formed by water freezing as it falls from something. It was such a magnificent sight. When he looked through his binoculars, he saw that the facial hair of the cat had dewdrops that looked like icicles, and it was a beautiful sight. Ahmad went to say that on one occasion, the cat he had been watching with absolute stillness suddenly vanished from the sight. Now, this is the point where you realize why is the wild cat called as the ghost of the mountain, because on one side the cat he had been watching was still. There was no movement in the cat. It was still over there, and suddenly the cat vanished, disappeared. So this is what generally happens with ghosts. You see it in a second it gets disappeared. So that is why it is called as the ghost of the mountain. Okay, now Ahmad waited for nearly 2 hours in the wet snow but could not spot it again. Since he had seen the cat over there, he waited there for nearly 2 next hours in that wet snow to spot it out but could not spot it again. The guide said that there could be secret passageways through the snow and rocks that were only known to the cat. So, what did the guide say? That there could be secret passageways, ways through which the cat could pass and go away through the snow and rocks, which only the cats knew. Nobody else could do that. He also warned Ahmad that there had been occasions when photographers and scientists had to leave without even a fleeting sight of the palace's cat. So, what did Ahmad say? That there had also been occasions when certain photographers and scientists had to leave without even a sight of a running palace's cat. They had to go without anything. Ahmad said that it was a great challenge to follow the cat when the weather kept changing. So, what Ahmad said about his experience was that it was a great challenge to follow the cat when the weather kept changing. The wind had a high velocity and sometimes suddenly turned into a shrieking hurricane. Wind over there was very speedy. It had a high velocity and sometimes it turned into a hurricane. There were occasions when their tents were blown away. Just imagine the speed of the wind that their tents used to get blown away. Using the cameras was tough too. Although well protected in thick woolen gloves, Ahmed's fingers would go numb. Numb means he could not feel anything, and it became a struggle to handle the camera. Since it was very cold over there, even after wearing woolen gloves, Ahmed's fingers would go numb and it became very difficult to handle the camera. When your fingers go numb, you don't feel anything, and then it becomes very difficult to handle anything in your hands. So, special boots too were needed for the trek. This is the experience of trekking over there, shared by Ahmed. At night, they slept in sleeping bags and under many layers of blankets. The wake up call would come at 5 a.m. sharp along with hot coffee. I asked Paul Williams, who is Paul Williams, a celebrated, well known wildlife filmmaker, about his experience in sighting the Pallas's cat during the filming of a BBC documentary in Mongolia. He replied, what did he share his experiences? It took many weeks for my team to spot it. We depended on the eyes of the nomadic people. Nomadic people means people who move from here and there. They do not have a particular resident to live in. So these nomadic people who worked with us, they helped the filmmaker to locate, to spot the cat. And it took many weeks for them to spot it. Virtually nothing was known about the movement and social organization of the Pallas's cat, he said, which is locally called the small ghost of the mountain. So these Pallas's cats are known as the small ghost of the mountain. He said that one of the turning points during the filming was when they located five kittens. There was a turning point during the filming of the documentary, which was when they located five kittens. There were a few weeks they sorry that were a few weeks old in a rocky cave high up in the mountains. The young ones were full of energy but would suddenly freeze. Freeze means again they would get merged with the environment. Freeze when a predator such as an eagle passed overhead. So they would freeze, they would stop at that very place and they would get merged with the environment to hide themselves from any kind of predator such as eagle or anything which passed overhead. He recalled the Pallas's cat looks like a mythical creature, a creature which cannot be described. Deep in thought, they are one of the most characterful animals. Characterful means something that is interesting or unusual in a pleasant way. It's a very unique kind of animal I have seen and filmed. Neeraj Meher, now we'll discuss about the experience of a scientist at the Wildlife Institute of India, Dehradun, Uttarakhand, who has been studying the cat since 2013. He said that wildlife photographers and enthusiasts who wanted to see the Pallas's cat in India should visit Ladakh. The farmers and shepherds of Ladakh's region love the cat, which they see while grazing their livestock. So the from India, all those who want to see the Pallas's cat can visit Ladakh. In 2016, the International Union for Conservation of Nature, that is IUCN, assessed that the Pallas's cat was near threatened. The population had decreased because of prey depletion and loss of habitat. So the population of these species had decreased because of prey depletion and loss of habitat. The Canada-based Pallas's Cat International Conservation Alliance is working with the IUCN and other like-minded organizations to come up with conservation strategies to protect this unique cat. So, just like other animals, these species are also getting extinct due to prey depletion and loss of their habitat. So, many organizations are working on to look for their to look for to make sure that these species do not get decreased. Okay, thank you so much.